Guys, assalamu alaikum farida Fashion by Faith Iman. Okay, welcome back. We're doing our final part of our Monday motivational series. I'm about to wrap up my really busy day. I have my sister's kiddos. We are unschooling, homeschooling right now, so we're out and about doing that. And then after this, I have to get on my calls for the day and all that. So let's wrap this up and just discuss. If you go to our first and second part series, we were discussing the ability to learn by undoing, learning which our bad habits are, learning how to really just list and be conscious of everything that's been holding you back, and then creating a realistic time frame. So we're using an example of finances. So if you had financial issues, too bad credit cards you've taken out in the last 5 years, a lot of debt if you accumulate in the last 5 years, jumping up and saying, hey, Coach Farida, I want to knock that out in 3 months with a minimum wage job, may not be the most realistic goal setting time framework. And we want to get to the point where we're taking action steps, we're doing these terrible and like kind of sometimes just unconscious habits that we've accumulated throughout these years, and we're doing it in a concise and a planned format that is really going to get us to the next level, and we're really going to excel. And by doing so, again, guys, we have to be realistic with what we're handling every day, what we're taking into our heart, our mind, our body, and our soul. How is our overall well-being mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? And I do all that with your coaching. Again, all of our coaching is virtual, ladies in business and branding. And if you're just a lady who wants to excel in your personal development, we are here for you too. Okay? So all of our information for our website and everything is on our Instagram, our website, our Facebook, our YouTube, everywhere. We are everywhere. And we do completely virtual coaching and consulting for all of our packages. And we're able to reach you just from a phone, one-on-one coaching, as well as our actual schools that we have online in our different classes, okay? So with all of that said, guys, let's look into the part two. Just reiterate what happened in part two. It's like taking that one-on-one assessment, that one-on-one accountability, okay? Coaches can always get you so far. People can always promote you and motivate you so far. But if you're not self-aware and in a state of kind of a self-love, a self-actuality, you kind of lose that part of understanding yourself. Welcome in, love. You lose that part of understanding yourself. Self-awareness is a big part of how I coach and what I try to bring back to my particular clients and get them to the core of who they are. If you have limited self-awareness or just self-confidence issues and the detachment of self through trauma or whatever has happened, it's kind of hard to work on these things like undoing bad habits, creating strategic time frames. A lot of people who are less self-aware will come to me and they'll say things like, I want to coach. And again, they'll use this, we're using finances today as an example. So they say, I have, again, 2 major credit cards with financial debt, and I've accumulated that from 5 to 10 years, but I want to knock it out in 6 months. I want to knock it out in 3 months. But you're working a job that doesn't give you any extra income to be able to do so. You haven't reached out to your creditors or however that's going. We can set up steps for you, but realistically, that detached from your self-awareness and what's actually happening in your life is creating the friction in what you're seeing, the actualization, okay? So we have to understand that it's cause and effect. That's what's happening with us, is that we are inconsistent with ourselves, and then we see that the life around us is like, oh God, something we don't like. Okay, so we got to work on that one-on-one accountability, getting back to that core belief system and the values. The next thing is, again, creating your personal mission statement. We discussed that in video 2. You guys can go backwards and see the other 2 videos. Creating that negative, those lists of negative self-talk or different things that you do negatively that you want to undo so you can get a higher self-value consciousness. Every day you want to work on, how can I value myself? How can I value myself? How can I value myself? Welcome in, beautiful souls. What am I doing to really create a narrative of self-value? One-on-one accountability, self-awareness has a lot to do with a person's value. As soon as I coach from the first consultation, I can tell you the woman's value of herself. There are so many women who utilize terminologies, and a trained coach, we just feel it. We feel it in our souls, and it hurts me that we'll have women who are like, well, I'm just a teacher. I'm just this. They don't really have a sense of awareness of what they're doing and how it's valuable. You got to attach a number to it, or they'll see someone and they're like, well, I saw this teacher and she's doing all this stuff, and they'll give me an example of who they want to be like, but we got to go back and see kind of the narrative they've been teaching themselves and see where is their one-on-one connection. Where did they disconnect? At what time frame did they disconnect from their going to school to creating this great life for themselves and just kind of like not feeling good within themselves, okay? So it's really hard to achieve goals and attributes and have all this abundance in life and just wake up one day and just don't like yourself. So we hold that to a really strong affirm here at Fashion by Faith Iman. That's like literally what I'm all on, I'm all about. It's okay to have bad days, but we have to learn how to like ourselves and really create a healthy one-on-one conversation. The next thing is being very conscious of time frames, which is what we're coaching on today. Being really smarter, that old saying, don't work harder, but work smarter. How can we get smarter with our time frames, our scheduling, and our lists? Maybe doing 3 things a day, not piling on 10 things a day. Last quarter of the year, a lot of people reach out and they want to pile on everything. We're not doing that. We can get started with a couple of things that are going to give you the biggest jump ahead. Assess where we can take, a look at what things that have you already done this year and kind of build off of that. Assess where we can get some momentum going and some of the things that you kind of maybe have started on and kind of got stagnant to give you the best results. But just creating these massive lists all the time and kind of being scattered about, no matter how much you're managing, at a certain time, if it's just you and a couple of people in your life helping you in life, most of us only have a couple of people who are we can delegate tasks to effectively, you need to assess making the list more strategic. And that's, again, where I come in as your coach, we help you with that. But understanding one-on-one what you're saying to yourself, what's the narrative, and how you're going to hold yourself accountable. A lot of people do come in coaching and they don't have realistic lists. They have really long things they want to do, or some things that we need to sort out that are maybe short-term goals that have been taking up a lot of their time because they've been so exhausted stretching themselves out. Okay. And last but not least, this particular final stream is about our faith. We're talking about holding space and being human, understanding these time frames and understanding the power of undoing things, undoing these negative habits, undoing these burdens, undoing these negative talk, undoing these impulsive buying habits, all these things that attribute to the lifestyle we don't want, right? We have to also hold space for human moments, such as COVID, things that are out of our control, such as death, such as something as intense as you working at a career and you losing a job one day, right? There's human moments and things that happen in life that you have to hold space for and put it. As a coach, I will put that, we put it in your chart. We understand if you have a sickness, we understand all these things about you that attribute to your time frame so that we can be realistic in planning. Again, we don't want to, it's not a problem being overly optimistic at any given time, but be realistic as far as what you have been going through and what traumas and things that you're holding on to. Forgive yourself, create moments of open space to really work on self. And again, last but not least, in order to fuel all those things, we need our faith. So Fashion by Faith Iman is actually distinctively named to be fashioned by your faith. If you have a book and a scripture that you follow, attributes that you follow, they usually have a mandate and certain things that you have to do to rejuvenate and refuel your faith. So do not ever think that divine timing is not completely on time. Like, divine timing is coming. Divine timing is going to flourish. You are exactly where you need to be, as daunting as the task sometimes is. Most of the time I'm meeting people when I'm coaching them, and I always say they meet me at the edge of the cliff, and that's the kind of people I like to coach, when they're like kind of right there in life, but they don't really know where to jump or step back, and they don't really know that there's that they have wings and all these beautiful things that they can do. It's just that they're kind of like at the edge, or they've done so much, climbed the cliff, and they're stuck, right, looking over the mountain. So faith is one of those things that is going to be the pinnacle part of you connecting with your one-on-one, holding yourself accountable with these time frames. And faith really helps you to undo the crap and the BS that you put yourself in, because it says to you, for the most part, assess where you are, look at what the things that other humanity has gone throughout these centuries, assess that you're human and you're real, and you're going to be tested and trialed, and then reset. Your faith is always there to help you reset. And so I want you to take that from this particular last session, is that how am I using my faith to reset and refuel? What can I do? What circles can I get into? Can I get into some circles, this week, this month? that are conscious women, or people that I like, the type of spirituality I like, the type of religious people I like. Kind of cleanse up your social media. I always do social media cleanses every quarter, which I recommend. Please cleanse up your social media and find something that's more abundant, that's going to help you rejuvenate your faith. As always, you guys know where to reach me. We are continuously growing. We are continuously pushing. When I have absolutely nothing to give, I give my all. So I want you guys to take the same momentum. Today has been a very long day. It's going to be a very long week. There's so many things going on back in home life that I'm just like, but I always take time to assess, again, how much I've done and what things I need to undo with myself, time frames, be realistic at the fact that I'm a mom, I'm an aunt, I have family, I have a social life, I have my own business ventures, I have different things I invest in, so it's gonna take time. Things just take time. Also, newsflash, if you're under 45, you'll be okay. Hello. You don't have to do it at 30. You don't have to do it at 20. Oprah did not become a billionaire at 25. Sometimes I coach women and we have so many things on our list. And I'm like, okay, make sure you're living this life as well as checking off a list, okay? But I'm 32. Sometimes I sit back and I say, okay, I may not be a 32-year-old millionaire, but I know a couple of millionaires, and they have to sit down and they have to continue to make those millions. Their life does not belong to them anymore. So all this, great social media fad of traveling the world with a laptop, doable. But believe me, most people I know that are very wealthy, they have to sit down. Their day is not theirs. They are not in the time frame that we're in. They are not in the sensibility of sleep. They don't get sleep. I mean, I barely get sleep, but it's serious for me. Like I make my time for myself. So it's okay. It's very much okay to be in a realistic time frame. It's very much okay for life to be kicking you in the gut. It's very much okay for you to be in your 20s, 30s, and 40s and not have everything figured out. We got this. We have more tools, we have more awareness. We just simply need to be consistent and have recipes, support, and formula. And that's where I come in, guys. So much love. Have a blessed day. We're always here. Our free coaching is on our website, 2 weeks free on our Welcome Week Academy. Assalamu. Peace.